Once again, mine is to welcome all of us that we are here and want to take this opportunity to introduce ourselves. We have your hosts, the School of Hospitality and Tourism Management, led by our Dean, Dr. Juliana Maina. You just wave, Dr. Harry. She'll have a chance to say a word to us, and it will be a great thing to hear her give us her opening remarks as she welcomes all of us to this year's event. Secondly, I have my staff members that we work with in that department, those who are with us here. I will request where they are. I know enough of them are out there doing the logistics, but we have a couple of them that are with us here. Carol, and anybody else we have in the hall? Yes, the one who has prayed for us is the one that we are seated with here. The rest will be going to be seeing them as we continue with the event. Then we have the other team from Murang'a University, and I'll request the DVCs to just rest. Their time will come, I'll be calling upon them. So the other team from Murang'a University, those who are with us here, the staff and faculty, to just wave at the team that is in the house today. So those who work for Murang'a University, I know enough of them are running around also with the logistics, and again, we'll be seeing enough of them as we continue with us. We have the students with us, and you are most welcome. Those who are receiving the other students who are joining us, the team from Murang'a University, it's a pleasure having you. You have also come across a number of them who are doing the ushering, and as we continue for the 2 days, we're going to be here together. We will have a chance to interact with them. Please spot one of them around. They are dressed in ushering attire, and tell them to take you around Murang'a University and at least be able to sample what the university has to offer. We always say we are one university that is on hills and valleys, and we have managed to make sure the university meanders across the entire place. So avoid shortcuts. Please go the route, take one of the students to take you around and to show you what we have here. Most welcome. We have also our friends who are visiting us from other universities. And as I go to introduce those teams from other institutions, I got the team that has been preparing this event, the members of the Secretariat, led by our chairperson, Dr. Nyambisi Mengo. We just wave at the members. She will have a chance to talk to us in other capacities, many other capacities, so to say. Thank you. That's Dr. Nyambisi Mengo of Karatna University, and with several other hats that she does wear, and she'll tell us more about that. Then we have Dr. Mary Mutungi, we've been working closely with in this, the planning committee. She's around. Okay, she's back there. So Mary, we are seeing you. Thank you. She will have a chance also to say a word to us. And then we have Dr. Esther Munyiri of Kenyatta University. Thank you. She also have a chance to say jambo to us in very other many capacities that she does hold. Then we have our colleagues from Kenya Utalii. Could you please just wave at the team here? Thank you, and most welcome, Kenya Utalii College. We have the team from Karatina University, led by Dr. Menko, and she has waved at us. They have a big team of them around who have joined us. Do we have another member staff from Karatina University? We do? Okay. Please wave at us. Thank you very much, and welcome. She's leading our team of students, the community, the academic community of Karatna University. Most welcome. We have the team from Kenyatta University with us. I will request the staff members and the students to just wave at us. Let me start with the staff members led by Dr. Mutenki. Just wave at us. You will have a chance also to say jambo. Thank you very much. KU team, you're most welcome. You're most welcome, please. Then we have my friend and my brother of Cooperative University of Kenya. That's Dr. Bishage. Please wave at us, please. Thank you. Most welcome. Then we have our colleagues from Kabianka University, led by Dr. Janet. Thank you very much. Janet is most welcome. Which other team have I leaving out? Mount Kenya University, are you in already? We are expecting the Mount Kenya team to be joining us. Another team I've not mentioned. Another team I've not mentioned. Thank you. So as we are going to be getting more team from the registration desk, we'll be introducing them so that we can be able to know the group that we are here. And as you are able to see with the kind of teams that we have, the representation, that goes to tell you the kind of teams that we have been working with, organizing the IFFITT at Nairobi workshop. Now, why do we call it IFFITT Talks at Nairobi? That one will be told more by the president on why we call it that way. This is the Kenyan chapter of IFFITT, and so they're always named after the capital cities of where it is housed, being part of the IFFITT Africa chapter. So we have the Kenyan chapter, and we are establishing others. I know there's in Zimbabwe. The president will be able to tell you us more of which other chapters of IFFITT are already currently operating within the African chapter of IFFITT Global. The same also, I know the president will be mentioning them some about it. The president for IFFITT Global will be able to share with us more on what this IFFITT is. And so, as it will be indicated, we have been organizing this forum since 2016. This is our 6th year running, organizing these events round, started from Kenyatta University, and today we are at Murang'a University. And so the committee will be able to tell us where are we going to be next year, because it's an annual event that we have been holding among the universities to discuss the core area of ICTs and their role within the travel and tourism sector. That's what the IFFITT Talks have all been about, where we exchange the latest knowledge, the latest technologies, and how they are being applied within the travel and tourism sector. And throughout the 2 days we're going to be here today and tomorrow, we are going to be told more about this. We'll be able to hear more about what is happening. We have assembled a team of presenters here who are experts in that area, a few student papers, but majorly we are dealing with the industry that are going to be doing these presentations. We have with us the CEO of HPAS Global, who will be able to talk to us and tell us more about the kinds of ICT applications that they have developed and how they are applying them within the tourism sector. The same again, we'll have the hoteliers, a whole panel of hoteliers who are going to be talking to us about this. We are privileged, we'll be joined online by the chairman of Kenya Tourism Federation, which brings together all the private sector of the tourism industry in this country. They will be addressing us during the panel for the hoteliers, where they are going to be telling us how have they navigated out of the COVID-19 using ICTs. So we'll get that perspective from them. Going later, we also have a chance to hear from Travelport. The CEO is also going to be presenting here and telling us about how ICTs have been used in facilitating travel. So these ones deal with the travel facilitation for airlines, for hotels and the like. So they'll tell us what are the latest technologies and how have this worked for them during the COVID period and what lessons they have picked from there. We also have a chance then to hear from the S3 Eastern Africa. These are experts in the GDS area. The geographic, no, not GDS, GIS, yeah? Yes, that information is it's called Joe? Yes, that one, Yes, geographic information system. That's their area of expertise. They are doing a very interesting work in the cultural tourism. I know they'll make a mention of that. But key to that, what we want to hear from them, and what I know they are going to be telling us more, is how they have, the kind of ICT applications for tourism resilience. how ICT is working towards ensuring that the tourism sector becomes resilient as we navigate out of the COVID-19 pandemic. So that's what we're going to be having. We also have a very interesting panel, and this one you can't afford to miss, those who may be planning to miss any session. Now, this will be tomorrow, and the women in tourism plan to hold a panel with us here to share their experiences of how the women in tourism have made it during the COVID-19 time. And so that is going to be a panel discussion, not one person. We're going to have a group engaging and discussing that topic here. Please prepare your questions that you want to be able to throw to them, open discussion, telling us how are the women doing it in tourism. It will be a great moment to share together. Of course, they also have a chance to tell us what women in tourism do. It's called the Kenya Association of Women in Tourism. So if they are going to be doing any recruitment, I encourage all the women in tourism, please join that group for mentorship and for opportunities and even for networking. We welcome you to that. So that's how our programs look like. We have a few papers to be presented. We have a very interesting paper that's going to be presented tomorrow by one of our secretariat members, Dr. Mary Mutungi, on market diversification in turbulence. And this one, she's speaking it from the luxury brands niche, the luxury hotel brands. So she'll be presenting that topic. So through the DVC and the members present, you'll be able to take note that we have not gone purely academic. We have decided let's learn from the industry and a few papers from our students here, but more we are taking this one as a capacity building session for both our staff, our faculty, and even among ourselves, sharing ideas on what is the latest knowledge in the area of ICTs and the travel and tourism sector. So welcome to the discussion. We look forward to having a very fruitful discussion together. We are looking for active participation from all of us, so that at least we are going to get the best out of this event. So that's the much that I wish to be able to put across as I brief us on this. So through the VC represented and the DVCs, allow me then at every moment to invite my dean for the school to make her remarks, and she'll be able to invite the other deans present or represented to also make their remarks, and proceed on, Dean, to also invite the DVC to take over from there. Thank you very much and most welcome. Once again, karibuni sana Murang'a.
I want to take this opportunity to give you a very hearty welcome to our institution, Murang'a University of Technology. I'm Dr. Juliana Maina, the Dean, School of Hospitality and Tourism Management. So it is a great pleasure to see many of faces we know having paid us the visit today. You know, it is not stressful when you have a visitor who you know. Yeah, there's no tension because you know them. So we are happy today to have all of you as our friends, and those who are new to us feel welcome and become our friends also. So we hope you will enjoy the time around us as we discuss many issues, as you've been told, issues concerning our industry, issues concerning the tourism and of course the hospitality industry, and particularly in connection to the ICTs and the developments, technologies around it. So it has been a long anticipated time. We've really waited for you, and from deep down our hearts, we say thank you for honoring our call for you to come here. We are hoping the event will be successful, and of course there is no event without guests. That's why I'm retaliating once more that you are very, very welcome. And your voices will be very much needed in all the discussions we are going to have. Let's not just have listening people around. Let's use our voices and raise issues where we can for the good of all of us. It is my hope that in addition to listening to the specific discussions, we shall all actively participate. Yes, I'm sure you will enjoy delivering whatever you have and having people respond to you. Yeah, it is usually enjoyable that way. So all the various presentations, kindly let us all participate truly. So we shall also appreciate to hear all your uniqueness. Everybody is unique in his own way or another. Everybody is unique in the way they understand issues. So we shall be glad to hear from you and get issues that we shall raise. So once more, I want to welcome all of you to be part of us today and tomorrow. I'm welcoming all of you who are here today, and we have some people online. We want also to make them feel welcome in this session. So feel at home at Murang'a University. I saw Karatina saying they are the green university, but we want to say we are the greener. We are the greener universities. You've seen the greenness as you came along. We also have wildlife, in particular monkeys. And we can release them at will, but we shall not do that. So feel welcome, feel okay, feel relaxed, enjoy the session. So at this juncture, I want to invite my fellow deans from various institutions represented here, and as they come, they shall just introduce their teams so that we recognize their teams. So I'll start with the Dean of United States International University, Dr. Mary Mutunga. Karibu sana. Then we'll have, following her, instead of coming here, we shall have the Dean. It's okay. Welcome.
Good morning and greetings from USIU. This is the Green University. As we offer education to take you places, and I believe we are all unique in our own way. Greetings from our Vice Chancellor, Professor Maggie Nzain. We have a new Vice Chancellor since September. Greetings also from the DVC, Professor Munyai Mulinge, and the Substantive Dean, Professor Timothy Okech. The Hospitality and Tourism Department, which I head, is in the Chandaria School of Business, but the Dean could not make it to be with us today. It is the smallest department in the Chandaria School of Business, and we have been in IFFITT for the last 6 years. We are here to tell Murang'a University you are lucky to host it in person. It was our turn to host it in 2020 at the height of the pandemic, and there were only 4 members of the Secretariat. Everyone else joined online, so Murang'a is lucky to be the first one post-COVID to have sort of a 90% in-person attendance. So we are proud to be associated with IFFITT and Murang'a University. We look forward to great interactions, presentations, and knowledge sharing for the next 2 days. Thank you all, and feel welcome at Murang'a. We are partners with the other 3 universities that always organize IFFITT. Thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you, Dr. Mary Mutunga. Kindly now let's have Dean Kenyatta University. Welcome.
The DVC, Professor Tutoek, I understand that's the name, and many members of the management present, deans of faculties from various universities that were here, the chairman of departments, lecturers, colleagues, PhD masters and bachelors, comrades present. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Dr. Sisino Muthengi from Kenyatta University. I am privileged to bring you greetings from Kenyatta University, from the entire management of Kenyatta University, headed by Professor Wainaina, our Dean, School of Business, Economics and Tourism. We are a big school, very big school. There were 3 schools that have been joined together now. We were School of Hospitality and Tourism and Leisure. Now we have School of Business, Economics and Tourism. Things are happening. And so our Professor, Vice Chancellor, and Dr. Perry Sonono, that is our Dean, and greetings from our Chairman of Hospitality and Tourism, Dr. Kariuki, and the entire KU team. Perhaps just want the team that we came with to just rise and just wave from Kenyatta University. I think we have quite a number, just stand and wave. Yeah, we came up almost a full bus. Thank you very much. I am here to just thank you for this preparation and invitation to attend this conference. ICT is has a major influence on every aspect of life today. And I was looking at the trends that we have right now in ICT. And some of the trends that we have, like removing us from actually the work itself. And so if we are not participating in ICT-related activities and understanding, then we may be irrelevant. So I am personally interested, very interested, and that's why I'm here, to participate in understanding and learning as many things I could learn on how I can adapt into issues and areas of information technology, the Internet of Things, the artificial intelligence, and the QR codes. You visit some museums out there and you find there is no one to guide you. But when you get in there, you have your phone, you just scan things, and you have actually information. You're being taught what is there. You're being given a guidance, even better than a human could tell you. We could do that in our Fort Jesus Museum or other museums that we have. And so you get our guest, I'm happy to be here and happy to be part of the journey that started in Kenyatta University in 2016. And most of the colleagues who are here, I can assure you we have interacted here or there, and they could be part of Kenyatta University. Even Murang'a could be part of Kenyatta University. So we are here and we feel at home because some of the lecturers, your students, who are lecturers or maybe undertaking, we are developing them in Kenyatta University, so we feel at home, and most of the universities here. So I want to really thank you for the invitation, and being glad to participate today and tomorrow for the conference as we continue sharing information. And Kenyatta University has this big commitment, and the School of Business, Hospitality, Business, Economics, and Tourism will be here to support both in physically, or we say in whatever, and in kind, whatever, in spirit, by being here and working together with you. Thank you very much. Have a great conference.
Thank you very much. We are hearing we will deal so much with technology, and technology is good, and technology can be frustrating sometimes, but we should embrace it. Many times you've gone somewhere and you are just unable to press a button to give you a service. Yes, that is why we are embracing it. That is why we want to know about it. We want to have it in our areas of specialization. And as we think about that, I want to welcome Dean, Karatina University. Dr. Mengo, please.
I was waiting for her to say, so you clap for me as I walk here. She forgot that Hello and good morning. My name is Dr. Nyabisi Mengo from Karatina University. I'm here to speak on behalf of our Dean, School of Business, Karatina University. His name is Dr. David Gishuhi. He was not able to come. He texted me this morning and told me he was not able to join us. But receive his greetings. Just like Dr. Mary said, we have been organizing this for a while for universities, and we are very excited and we're very glad to be back to a physical location. And we hope, as we have been enjoying the program for 5 years, we look forward to this year because we've planned for a lot of things within these 2 days, including yesterday. I hope some of you were able to join yesterday. We really look forward to having an engaging time in these 3 days. Karibuni sana, and feel at home in the greener university. Thank you.
Thank you so much. At least you clap for her without instruction. That's good. So now I want to take this opportunity to welcome our DVC, Finance and Development, Professor, okay. Sorry for that. I want to welcome our DVC, Academic and Student Affairs, Professor Priska Tuitoek. So let's clap for her as she comes.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Juliana. Our chief guest, the CEO and principal of Utalii College, Professor Charles Musyoki, DVC in charge of finance and development in Murang'a University, Professor Beatrice Mugendi, CEOs present for various organizations, directors present for various institutes, our Dean, School of Hospitality and Tourism Management, Dr. Juliana Maina, and the deans from various universities. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, participants watching virtually, good morning. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome all of you, both staff and students. Welcome to Murang'a University of Technology. I would like to introduce Professor Mugendi. She can stand and wave. She's our DVC in charge of finance and development. Then I'm also here representing the Vice Chancellor. I'm standing in for the Vice Chancellor. He's away, and he sends his greetings. He's very much aware that this function is going on, and he's happy that you chose Murang'a University as the venue for this workshop or for this conference. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the university. And I'll give you just a little information about Murang'a University of Technology. Murang'a University of Technology was awarded its charter on 7th October 2016. So we are a little over 6 years old as a fully fledged university. The university started operating in 2011 as a university college or a constituent college of Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. The college was formerly a college of technology. It was an MCT. So since the award of charter, our university has continued to grow steadily in respect of student enrollment and infrastructure. The total number of students at the university stands at around 8,000, and it's expected, of course, to grow to over 10,000 in a year or two. These students are admitted in 6 schools in the university: the school that's hosting new hospitality and tourism management. We also have engineering and technology. We also have computing and information technology, education, humanities and social sciences, pure applied and health sciences, business and economics. So we have 6 schools. Ladies and gentlemen, and our chief guest, we remain alive to the reality that making of a great university is dependent on its commitment to scholarly excellence. Our university has continued to endeavor to achieve its vision of being a leading university in technological innovation, research, and training. And its mission is to advance knowledge and technological transfer through teaching, training, learning, research, and innovation for sustainable development by ensuring that academic programs are tailored to produce well-trained graduates with hands-on skills and competencies. Ladies and gentlemen, the workshop is on mainstreaming ICTs in global tourism post-COVID-19 recovery. I congratulate and thank you for holding this workshop in Murang'a University of Technology. This workshop is intended to provide an avenue for academia, practitioners, and policymakers to share research findings, practical experiences, and best practices on the role of ICTs in recovery of the tourism industry following the ravages of the COVID-19 pandemic. The significance of tourism industry in the world economy and to this country remains a sector that generates an upward of 10% global and Kenya's national GDP. Any significant disruption to this sector therefore warrants the attention of scholars, practitioners, and policymakers alike. It is undeniable that COVID-19 affected the tourism industry in ways that have never been witnessed in the recent history. I think it is since the World War II, we had not witnessed actually airplanes grounded, hotels, eateries, and social places closed, and travel restrictions put in place in all countries around the globe, bringing global travel, the very backbone of the tourism industry, to its knees. Indeed, compared to other sectors in the economy or of the economy, the tourism industry took the biggest hit given the measures taken worldwide and locally to control the spread of the pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, in Kenya, the COVID-19 pandemic presented a significant impact on the country's tourism industry, disrupting both consumer and business segments alike. This impact generated consequences beyond the tourism economy, with the many other sectors that support and are supported by tourism also significantly affected. Thankfully, during these COVID-19 driven disruptions to the global tourism industry, ICT emerged as one of the greatest areas of innovation, helping to soften the blow, albeit at least partially. ICT continues to play a key role in strengthening the foundations for a sustainable and inclusive economy recovery, providing alternative pathways to the practice of the tourism during the new normal. Ladies and gentlemen, as the world struggles to rise from the impact of the pandemic, many countries are today developing measures to build a more resilient tourism economy post-COVID-19. Promoting the digital transactions remains the center of plans to support the sustainable recovery of tourism. Notably, with timely interventions and strategic investments in digital development space, countries will generate a solid potential to build strong foundations for national digital transformation, supporting a long-term sustainable and inclusive growth in tourism sector. Ladies and gentlemen, Murang'a University of Technology prides itself as being a center of excellence in technology, training, research, and innovation. Its technological environment is strategically important to its mission, since information technology is an indispensable presence and fundamental enabler of world-class educational practice, research, and innovation. So over the years, the university has leveraged on ICT to advance its mission, and it is one of the goals identified in its strategic plan and shapes the direction for information technology initiatives. Hosting this workshop at a time the world is finding its footing in the recovery of the tourism industry, therefore aligns with the university's goal of spreading research, or spearheading research and innovation in technology. Therefore, take pleasure to invite then all of you, tourism and hospitality students, scholars, industry leaders, practitioners, and policymakers to this event in our university. And I wish you very fruitful deliberations. Thank you very much, and welcome again. I would like to take then this opportunity then to welcome our chief guest to address us. Welcome, Professor.
Thank you very much, Madam. I know I have been referred to very many times as the chief guest. Sometimes that title is so heavy that you're not able to carry it on your back. So please don't treat me as a chief guest. Treat me as one of you who is participating in this particular workshop. Thank you very much, Madam Vice Chancellor, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic and Student Affairs, Professor Priska Tuitoek, I hope I have pronounced it well, who is today representing the Vice Chancellor of Murang'a University of Technology, Professor Dickson Nyariki, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Finance and Development, Professor Beatrice Mugendi, Dr. Mengo Jabisi, the President of IFFITT Africa Chapter, Dr. Ray Mutinda, the Chairman of the Department of Hospitality, Travel and Tourism Management, hospitality and tourism industry, actors, players, and everybody from that sector, academic staff who are present in this workshop, students, and I think I can see very many of them here, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. I want to begin by saying that Kenya Utalii College is very humbled and honored to have been invited to participate in this very important workshop, particularly considering that Kenya Utalii College is not a university like the many universities that have been mentioned here this morning, but you found it fit to invite us to sit with the universities and discuss the post-COVID resilience and adjustments with you. So we are not taking this lightly, and we are not taking it for granted. Before I make my remarks, I would like to introduce the team from Kenya Utalii College, beginning with Dr. Florence Njau, who is our director in charge of research and consultancy. We have Dr. Ngugi, who is our business development manager at Kenya Utalii College. We have Irene Chepkangor, who is our principal accountant. Catherine is our office administrator. We have our head of ICT, Madam Zamzam. And then we have our officer from internal audit. Where's the name escaping? Rachel, from our internal audit function. Now, as you can see, these officers are drawn from various functions. And so because of the importance of this workshop, we decided to send the entire ICT committee, our institutional ICT committee, to basically come and attend this workshop so that they can then be able to do what they need to do for us at Kenya Utalii College. You may take your seats. We are taking issues ICT very seriously, and we are basically relying on the ICT platform to transform the way we transact our business at Kenya Utalii College. And therefore, their presence and attendance of this workshop, I think, is going a long way in ensuring that we are able then to align ourselves appropriately. On behalf of the Kenya Utalii College Council, management, staff, and students, it gives me great pleasure to be the chief guest during this workshop, whose theme is mainstreaming ICT in the post-COVID-19 recovery of global tourism. I'm delighted to note that this workshop, which is under the banner of International Federation of ICTs in Travel and Tourism, is a global community for the discussion, exchange, and development of knowledge about the use and impact of ICT in the travel and tourism industry. I'm humbled that Kenya Utalii College is honored due to the role that it plays in training both tourism and hospitality. Ladies and gentlemen, the travel and tourism industry experienced major changes brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. The World Health Organization declared COVID-19 a global pandemic on 11th March 2020. To curb the spread of the virus globally, countries instituted diverse measures that included lockdowns, which we are all very familiar with, curfews, ban on domestic and international travel, ban on social gatherings. You do know that in Kenya, particularly, learning was stopped. All learning institutions were closed. Places of worship were also closed. Hotels and restaurants were also closed. So essentially, these measures led to an economic slowdown. From a travel and tourism perspective, the number of international visitors to Kenya declined by 90%. Income from ecotourism plummeted by 90 to 100%, depending on the locality. In fact, there are places where tourism just shut down because no one was traveling. You know, there were no flights coming in from our markets, our source markets. You know, our parks were just there. You know, animals were there, but nobody was coming to see the animals. So the COVID-19 pandemic, despite being a health crisis, was fundamentally an economic crisis. This is therefore a very important workshop that will look into how the academia, the industry, the practitioners, and the policymakers are navigating post-COVID-19, or maybe more accurately, how we are going to continue navigating the travel and tourism industry in the midst of COVID-19, which continues to mutate. As you are aware, we are not out of the woods yet. The situation is much, much better than it was in 2020. We've seen very progressive recovery, particularly in tourism. 2021 was much, much better than 2020. 2022 seems to be better than 2021, but we are still not yet at the 2019 level. Most significantly will be the lessons that we shall learn and apply in our respective institutions and workplaces by taking advantage of the opportunities presented by ICT. I think at no time have we, in the history of our own countries, seen the value of ICT than during the COVID-19 pandemic period. A lot of things could still be done. Those of us who worship could still worship virtually. You didn't need to go to church, you didn't need to go to a mosque or a temple or wherever else people worship, because these are services that could actually be provided for virtually. Classes at some point resumed also virtually. So I think ICT in itself presents very, very major opportunities for us as we move towards recovery from these effects of the pandemic. Effective and high-speed ICT, infrastructure and software applications in the tourism and travel industry have been very important in tourism development in that, one, they have allowed customer management relations and supply chain management to be combined into a single source that allows customers to select and pay their products using a single tool. Secondly, they have allowed the producers in the industry to reach their customers directly and promote their products, and this has led to reduced costs. So again, very major advantages that ICT is bringing on board. Thirdly, ICT have led to changes in demand and supply, in that a higher demand for individualized products and travel information by the ever-increasing discerning customers has led to unique travel experiences. Fourthly, ICTs have provided unique opportunities to the industry players to innovate and redesign products to meet individual needs and satisfy the customer needs. Indeed, there are companies that are now providing virtual tours. You can actually visit national parks virtually, pay the fee, and be able to see real-time lions hunting, lions on a kill, without having to travel, thousands of miles to see these animals. So again, technology, and the advantages that technology has. Africa has been accused of being very technology averse. And we need, I think, as Africans, take to technology effectively. Because technology has a huge potential to change the way we do our business. Technology is so convenient. I can share some experiences I've had myself because I went to school in Japan. And Japan is one of the most developed countries. Technology is very advanced in that country. So everything that is carried out in that country is underpinned by technology. Things are made very easy if you use technology appropriately and effectively. And therefore, I think as we deliberate in this workshop, as we discuss the post-COVID adjustments and resilience that we need to have as Kenya, the role of technology needs to be very central. We need to take every measure possible to ensure that we take all the advantages that are provided by ICT. Fifth, ICTs have provided opportunities where those unable to have physical meetings have continued to participate in discussions and exchange of ideas using online platforms. This workshop itself is a clear testimony of that. We are here physically, and there are probably more people following these proceedings virtually. So basically, again, that indicates the sort of values that these online platforms are bringing on board. Sixth, ICTs have also been used in creating destination management systems that have been used to integrate the entire tourism supply at the destination in order to reach global markets. Seventh, in academia, the digitization of education with the increase of online classes, which has made it easier to teach, learn, and exchange knowledge. However, caution should be taken because of the practical nature of the travel and hospitality programs to ensure that students acquire the required skills in addition to the knowledge. So again, taking advantage of ICT to still ensure that you are able to reach out to students even when there are restrictions in as far as congregating is concerned. Ladies and gentlemen, your input in this workshop is very valuable, not only to the academia, but also to the tourism stakeholders and the policymakers, as it will ensure that we are in tandem with the global travel and tourism trends. The industry is fast changing and is very, very dynamic. We want to ensure that we continue to provide the industry with professionals who are competent in their areas of specialization. To this end, the Kenya Utalii College is undertaking a fundamental review of its curricula, which will see ICT play a bigger role in curriculum delivery, and I'm sure that is the direction all our learning institutions should take. Ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, I wish to thank you once again for inviting me and for inviting Kenya Utalii College to this workshop. I believe the results of this workshop will go a long way in ensuring that our training meets the latest trends, as well as help us in achieving our respective mandates. I wish you fruitful deliberations It's now my humble duty and honor to officially open this workshop. Thank you and God bless you.
I want now to invite Dr. Mengo to come and tell us about IFFITT, and then she'll be inviting the IFFITT president to be able to address us. Most welcome, Dr. Mengo. Let's invite her now in the capacity of the president for IFFITT Africa. Please, a round of applause for her. So we continue until she's here, trusting that she will not take long. We are inviting the president of IFFITT Africa. So please, let's give our claps worthy the president. Most welcome, Dr. Please.
Our DVCs from Murang'a University, Professor Tuitoek and Professor Beatrice, directors, deans from various universities, staff, students, everybody who is joining us online. Good morning again. I've said good morning so many times. Just keep saying it back to me. Good morning again. It's a cold morning, so lazima tuchangamke, right? Right. First of all, welcome again to IFFITT Talk Nairobi 2022. We are very, 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 very excited to be back again physically. We have been working online for the past 2 years in 2020 and 2021. So it's wonderful actually to be back in a physical space, and also wonderful to see you and to interact with you again. Not seeing you when you're in your cars, in the hostel, in your office, but at least seeing each other and interacting with each other. So this is wonderful. I would like to thank our chief guest, even though he says we don't call him that or treat him as such, for his comments. A lot of what he has spoken about is what we stand for as IFFITT Global, applications of ICTs and tourism, and basically just trying to make the industry better. So just to start us off, you can scroll to the next slide, please. What I'm supposed to do today basically is to give you a background about IFFITT and about Enter conferences, which I will try to do in the shortest time possible. My name is Dr. Nyabisi Mengo. Currently, I am the chair for tourism and hospitality at Karatina University. And as well, I am the IFFITT Africa chapter president. The chapter currently has membership from around 7 countries, and we are hoping to be able to grow that at least within the next 2 years. We have membership from Nigeria and Ghana, from Egypt, from South Africa, Zimbabwe, Namibia, and Kenya, so 8. We are, let me start with this. I went to KU, and I'm happy to say Dr. Cicinio. I finished my PhD from KU, and I joined IFFITT in 2016 as a student. At the time, I was doing my PhD as a student, and since 2016 now, I think I've been there now for 6 years. The reason I joined IFFITT is because at the time I was doing, my thesis was based on ICTs and tourism. And as a community, IFFITT was able, you can scroll to the next slide. As a community, IFFITT really supported me in my studies. Not only, we're going to see this later, IFFITT provides mentorship through professors who are IFFITT members. And a lot of these professors, you get to encounter them. You know, when you're doing your thesis and you see all these professors are the ones you are citing in your paper, and then you actually get to meet them. A lot of them are actually members of IFFITT. So I joined in 2016, and I attended a doctoral colloquium in 2016 as well, and that is where my journey with IFFITT started. So just to introduce IFFITT, IFFITT is an international community which has representation around the globe. Its main focus is sharing knowledge about ICT and tourism and travel, just the whole industry, travel, tourism, hospitality, events, all of that, right? So it is a very large community with members from all over the globe. And aside, just a minute, sorry. Just a minute. And the website for IFFITT is iffitt.org, .org. And on the website, you can be able to find a lot of what IFFITT does as an organization, a lot of resources. One of the resources that it has, you can scroll to the next slide. One of the resources that it has is a Wikipedia. The Wikipedia is organized under around 40 topics, various topics about ICT and tourism, whether it's augmented reality and virtual reality, whether it's geographical information systems. So it is Wikipedia which is curated by the members, and they keep adding knowledge and information to it constantly. So it is really a wealth of knowledge if you can log on to it, the Wikipedia. Aside from that, IFFITT also offers support to universities which want to launch e-tourism curricula. So if you are interested in diversifying the tourism and hospitality curricula, IFFITT, because they have experts in the area, they're actually able to give you support, stakeholder participation when you're thinking about developing curricula for e-tourism. They also have MOOCs. MOOCs are massive open online courses. So there are courses which are organized by IFFITT at least twice a year, which you can participate. Some of them are time-bound, but some of them are self-pacing, so you can actually log in and do it at your own time and pace. So there are MOOCs for that, and you'll get a certificate for it. Some of the MOOCs are free, some of them are paid. So you just log in and find the one that interests you and register for it. IFFITT also has a knowledge map of universities which offer travel and tourism around the world. And also they have a map of universities which offer masters, any postgraduate studies in tourism and hospitality. So in case you're interested in partnering with other universities, other institutions which offer postgraduate in tourism and hospitality, they have a repository for that. Lastly, and this is one of the things I most benefited from, IFFITT also provides mentorship for students, again, especially in postgraduate, not primarily, but especially in postgraduate, who are doing their thesis and their work with a background in ICT and tourism. Now, as a member, you are free to actually contact any of the professors who have signed on as mentors within IFFITT. The scheme is called IFFITT Hero. So you can actually book, and they normally do Skype mentorship sessions, and they have timing for the consultation. So you can actually book times for you to consult with these various professors. This was very beneficial for me because at the time, the thesis that I was working on was not something that had been explored very deeply in the country, so I needed extra support from other professors, and this really came in to benefit me. So, IFFITT holds various events, apart from the resources. Next slide. IFFITT holds various events. One such event is IFFITT Talk, which is what we are doing now. We'll look at IFFITT Talk in depth later. We also have the IFFITT Doctoral Summer School. The Doctoral Summer School is a summer school for postgraduate students from around the world. It's normally held sometime either in August or September. And again, it changes locations from around the world. Last year, they were in China, so it changes locations. Minimum study for the summer school is 2 weeks, so you can sign on. During COVID, they also had a summer school online, but now that things are going back to normal, the summer schools are back to being physical. So you can sign up for that. I can tell you for free, it is really mind-opening experience, and it worked wonders for me. Likewise, there is the European IFFITT Masterclass on e-tourism. This is also just another summer school. The advantage about this is in case you're doing your studies in the European universities, when you take this masterclass, then they get credited. I don't know whether there's anybody here who's doing the masters in any European university. All right, so they get credits for that. It's also a very good program, and it's also very, very enlightening as well. We also have hangouts on air, where they're just community events where we go just to have conversations about what is happening in the world. It normally takes around 2 hours, and it's organized every maybe 2 months, just to have conversations about what's going on in your end of the world, what is the progress, what's slowing down, and things like that. So let me speak to you a bit about IFFITT Talk. Now, IFFITT Talk is an event which is organized by chapters. Apart from the main event, which is the Enter Conference, which we'll see later, the member chapters from various countries and various locations around the world are allowed to have workshops where we can have conversations about topics related to ICT and tourism which affect us. Now, IFFITT Talk is open to themes, and because it is country specific, it is actually open to interpretation, and you can actually create your own themes in what you feel affects you. And this is what we've been doing for the past 6 years. Maybe you can scroll a little bit. What we have done in the past 6 years is look at what is going on in our industry locally and try to come up with conversations around that, because that's what the IFFITT Talk is, having conversations about what's going on within our industry. So, for example, in 2017, we had something about competitiveness in the industry, because that's where we were at that time, how to enhance competitiveness within the industry. Then in 2018, we had conversations about geographical information systems. And in 2019, please scroll to the 2019 one. That's 2017, competitiveness. In 2018, it was about GIS. In 2019, we had conversations about resilient destination. No, that was in 2020. This is on 2019. The reason this is here is now in 2019, when we looked at the industry, and especially academia, we realized that there was a gap, especially to do with postgraduate students in tourism and hospitality. So in 2019, we sat together as a committee and decided to have a session specifically for postgraduate students, for them to be able to, number one, present their papers, and number two, also to get training from professors in the field. This has been running on since 2019, and it is the pre-event to now the main event. And to be honest, it has also been quite a success. In 2019 was the last time we were together physically, so at that event I remember there were around 24 presentations from masters and PhD students. So it has become a really popular pre-event to the main one. Then in 2020 we spoke about resilient destinations, because that is when COVID hit us properly. And in 2020 was the first time we held our event online, because of course we couldn't hold physical events. And last year we had conversations about culture and heritage and tourism. So as you can see, and of course this year we are talking about mainstreaming global ICTs. So as you can see, it is conversations which we feel are important to us and are important to our industry at this time. I'm happy to announce that for the 6 years that IFFITT Nairobi has been running, it is actually the most successful IFFITT Talk in all the IFFITT chapters that go on around the world. Because we normally have membership and of around, the least we had was around 120. And The most we had was the online one at USIU, which I think there were around 3,000 unique viewers. So as IFFITT Nairobi, we have been very successful, which means then it shows us that the conversations that we are having are actually important conversations and conversations that matter. So I know some of you have joined us today or this year for the first time. I would like to invite you to join us for this and more events as we continue to drive the industry forward and have deeper and deeper conversations. So aside from the success in numbers, IFFITT Talk Nairobi has also won several awards. The only time we didn't win an award is last year, and we didn't win an award last year because the event was online, and they had not come up with ways of measuring the event online. So we did not win because it was bad. We didn't win because of a technicality. Let me just say that. Ilikuwa technicality because they didn't have the systems to judge us online. So, this year, our conference is about mainstreaming ICTs in global tourism. We are very happy again to come back to a physical event. And let me invite you to participate in something. Could you scroll? Just scroll until I tell you to stop. Scroll again. Once more. One more. There. Since we are here, please get, and this is an ICT event, we all have phones. Of course, we all have phones. Please grab your phone. Please grab your phone. Dr. Bichage, grab your phone. Thank you. Please grab your phone. Log on to menti.com. Menti.com. And at least, thank you, Murang'a, we have very fast and free Wi-Fi. Menti.com. All right. When you log on to menti.com, you will be requested for a code. So enter that code that you see there. Code is 5573 5573 6520. 5573 6520. So you'll find a question there. Are we there? You'll find a question already posted there. Did you get the question? Have you gotten the question? Okay. One-word answers. Just give one-word answers to the question which is posted there. And then I will in the afternoon session give a nini to your responses. One-word answers about how we feel about going back to physical events. You are also allowed to give to answer multiple times, by the way. So you can give one-word answers about how it feels to be back to physical events. Dr. Njoroge, you're finished? Okay. All right? Okay. Right. So we can scroll back up, then we'll come back to this. You can scroll back up. Here. Right. So our approach this year was supposed to be conference style. We still have some papers which will be presented. And we are very happy that it's going to be blended this year. We are both here and there are people joining us online via Zoom. So we are very happy about that. Lastly, I want to speak to you about Enter. Enter is, next slide. Enter is the main conference for IFFITT. Enter is normally held every year in January, always held in different locations around the world. It is in its 29th year now, and this year Enter is going to be hosted in Johannesburg, in South Africa. It hasn't been on the continent for around, I think, 21 years. The last time it was here, it was in Cairo. So it's returning to the continent after a very long break. It will be there on the 18th of January, so kindly feel free to join us. It's a very engaging conference which brings together academia and industry leaders and government to have conversations about ICT. And it's very cutting edge, and I find it very informative. It's quite a good conference. It shows you, we have discussions about where the industry is heading, whether some technologies make sense, like virtual reality, as much as we might be excited about virtual reality. Is it actually translating to the market? Is it making sense? Are people actually embracing it? Things like that. So it's a very vibrant conference with very good conversations. And we would like to welcome you as well to join us. Likewise, for any postgraduate students, Enter has a colloquium for papers, where you enter your papers, and the papers are published after that. So if there are any postgraduate students who are interested, you may also join. Okay? Aside from the conference itself, when you present a paper at Enter, it is also published in a publication called Information and Communication Technologies in Tourism. So this book is published every year from the proceedings of the conference. And also, even if you don't make it to the conference, it is available online. As a member, you can get it for free. And you can also, just download it from the internet, and just to see where, the progress that we have had in ICT. The first installment for this, I think, was in 92 or 93. So, you can actually read through and see, and actually get to see the progress that we have made in ICTs as an industry. Likewise, we have agreed with IFFITT that because we don't just like speaking without people actually seeing the evidence of it, and without people actually getting to know what the benefits are. So we have had a conversation with IFFITT, and we agreed that everybody who's participating in IFFITT Talk Nairobi this year will get to have a 3-month trial membership, just for you to see what you do benefit as a member in IFFITT. So please ensure before you leave with you register with the registration desk, leave your emails behind so that you can forward that, and give you a free membership, so that you can actually have a view and an experience of what it is like to be an IFFITT member. Okay? Right. So, because again we are very ICT people, I am going to request one more thing of you. Again, from your phones. Please grab your phones. Thank you. Move slightly to the person next to you, not very much, not very much that you're crowding them. Slightly to the person next to you, and take a selfie. Slightly, not very much. And take a selfie. If you want to take a selfie I'll take a selfie with the whole room actually. I will take a selfie with the whole room. Take a selfie. And I know we are all on social media. I'm not seeing people taking selfies. Please take selfies in the next 30 seconds. All right. Please take selfies. Dr. Munyiri, you're not taking a selfie, surely. You're not taking a selfie. 5 selfies. Or 5, you need 5 minutes. Oh, okay. Let's take selfies. After you take that selfie, after we take the selfie, please post it online with any of these hashtags. Post it online with any of these hashtags. The plan is, the person with the most likes, comments, retweets, whatever, will get an award by tomorrow. That is the plan. The award will be a surprise. It can be 10,000 shillings. It can be a notebook. We don't know. But there will be a reward for it. So please take pictures. And again, because we are a very involved community, take as many pictures as you can and post them online on all of your social media. Any and all of your social media. If we are on TikTok, nani ako TikTok? Of course, there are people in TikTok. Who is on TikTok? If they're on TikTok, please invite me. I will join you. I've seen a hand there. please invite me. I will join you on your TikTok. We'll create a dance for this event. All right? That's it from me. You can scroll to the last page. The last page just has my extra information in case you would like to get in touch for any more information. Before I sit down, I would like to pass a message from the global president for IFFITT. He was not able to join us today, so what he did is he recorded a video for us to introduce us to IFFITT and to welcome us to IFFITT as well. So I will let that play. Is it ready? Please don't forget the hashtags when you're posting your pictures. Don't forget the hashtags. While they're planning for the video to play, I realized the first time I came when I was speaking on behalf of our dean, I looked lonely, like I came by myself. So just to show you that sikukuja peke yangu, the Karatina University team, please stand up. Karatina University team, please stand up. You are a whole busload. Yes. This is the university team from whence I come. Thank you very much. I think we can now watch the video from our president. Our president is Juho Pensonen from the University of Finland. Thank you. Responses. Your responses are, the question was, how does it feel being back at a physical event? Responses: good, happy, excited, fantastic, motivating, quite good, not really good for me. Hey, who is that? And why? It's not one word, right? So it's technicality disqualified. Who is that and why? Niko sababu ya mvua. Is it the rain? We are sorry. Grateful, it's awesome, exhilarated. Oh, that's a strong word. Comfortable, I feel advantaged. That is somebody who knows how to express their feelings. Enlightened, somehow weird. Somehow weird? Why somehow weird? Privileged, involved. Involved is a good word actually. Involved. Thankful, excellent, engaging. That's what we are hoping to achieve today, engaging, right? Cheerful, lucky, beautiful, tangible. Tangible is a good word. It's a good word as well. Active. Okay. So 98% positive response. Apart from the people who are feeling weird, I think we're all happy to be here. Is it ready now? Yes. Okay.
It is my pleasure, on behalf of IFFITT, to welcome all of you to this fantastic event. The world is changing around us all the time, and tourism industry is changing with it. A lot of this change is happening because of the technologies, how they develop and change the world. I'm also happy to see that COVID-19 impacts will be addressed at the IFFITT Talk Nairobi event. COVID-19 has been one of the biggest events in the tourism history, for sure, affecting the global tourism widely in different parts of the world. COVID-19 has also demonstrated the importance of the industry and tourism field for societies. It's not just about pleasure, it's about health and safety and wellness and well-being and many other factors that are being discussed in tourism right now. We also have to ask the question of how smart tourism currently is. How smart is an ecosystem that makes it possible for a virus like COVID-19 to spread globally? Is there something that we could have done? Is there something that we can do in order to prepare and make sure that nothing like this happens in the future? Is there something that we can do in order to make tourism more sustainable, make it more inclusive, make it more profitable, make it an industry that generates well-being on a global scale? And this is what IFFITT really is all about. IFFITT is a community. It's a group of people and organizations that make the global tourism ecosystem smarter every day. We are a global organization with members and followers from all over the world. This is something that we feel like is very much needed. We have to understand tourism on a global scale and understand all the connections and impacts of tourism on different parts of the world. What smart tourism is doing, it is making understanding the impacts of tourism much more easier, much more measurable, much more understandable. IFFITT has been working on this topic for more than 30, well, I would say about 30 years, with Enter conferences and the organization itself. I have the pleasure of representing IFFITT here in this event. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there in person, but it's my pleasure to still warmly welcome you on behalf of IFFITT. My name is Juho Pesonen, and I'm the president of IFFITT and professor of tourism business at the University of Eastern Finland. The IFFITT as an organization is focused on understanding technology and its use, and how can we use the technology in a smart way. It's about sharing knowledge and experiences of what works and what doesn't work. It's about learning from each other what to do and what not to do. It's an organization that brings together both the academia as well as the industry for improvement of the society. We are really enthusiastic about taking the scientific understanding and knowledge into managerial practices. We have to collaborate more in order to make the global ecosystem in tourism smarter, more resilient, and more effective. The research that the IFFITT members does and the practical applications they do are all connected to understanding the bigger picture in digitalization and digital transformation in the tourism field. I would say that the IFFITT community shares the passion for learning and understanding what is happening with technologies and how to smartly use ICTs in tourism and hospitality fields. The IFFITT mission is to share knowledge, experience, and true passion for ICTs in travel and tourism, being relevant for the industry and responsible for society at large, as well as ensuring scientific excellence. These are all cornerstones of what IFFITT represents in order to make the global tourism ecosystem smarter. In
Murang'a University of Technology. Feel welcome, all protocol observed. I want to acknowledge the presence of our guest of honor and all the delegates. Le President, Dr. Nyabisi, I'm proud to say that she was my student somewhere in this world. I'm so proud of her for her accomplishments. I just want to observe that Actually, when I met her, she was doing her doctorate and she was presenting a paper at Strathmore University. And what I taught her at Masters and what she was doing at Strathmore was totally very different. And I was very excited. I live with an ICT expert and I really went and told him, I wish you just came and saw what Nyabisi, I mainly call her Nyabisi. You know, when you have a student, their names you call her. There is Dr. Njoroge, I think he has left. I also taught him. I call him Joe. So I want to say that when she presented that particular paper, I just thought it was so awesome. It was something so different from what we are used to teaching as in the industry. So I think it's something which is really quite transformative, and I would really encourage that you pick up from what she has actually mentioned today. It was very exciting. In fact, I was really blown away from that conference.
The next speaker is called Francis Njue, represented here by Beth Njoroge. Beth is going to talk to us about what their company does with regard to ICT and solving and how they also are supporting the hotels, especially on guest movements. And I can't wait to hear and listen to her. Karibu.
I am from HPAS Global. It's an access system company whereby we ensure that we have people move from one stage to another and disregarding the books we used to register in most of the places as we get into the building. And first I want to pass apologies from our CEO, that is Francis Njue. He wasn't able to join us this day because he is engaged somewhere else, still representing the company. And I want to first give his keynote. Then I will continue to do a presentation which go hand in hand with what we are looking at today in ICT post-COVID-19. And so allow me to have myself lead the keynote. Key speech during a workshop on mainstreaming ICTs in the post-COVID-19 recovery of global tourism held in Murang'a University on the 17th and the 18th of November 2022. The theme being mainstreaming ICT in global tourism post-COVID recovery. And his main title is Innovation at the Center of Recovery and Preparedness. That is Francis Njue, the founder and the CEO of HPAS Global. I'm delighted to be here today. I'm honored and highly appreciate the invitation to give the key speech in this noble and very important forum. Thank you, organizers, for this great honor and opportunity. The theme of this workshop, that is mainstreaming ICT in global tourism post-COVID recovery, is extremely critical and important. This is so because it comes at a time when tourism all over the world is still figuring out how to come out of the woods due to the effect of COVID-19 pandemic. While this is happening, tourism in different parts of the world is struggling with other unique challenges, while some destinations are struggling with insecurity, unfavorable government policies, Others are suffering devastating effects of climate change, poor infrastructure, and inaccessibility. While we all agree that COVID-19 pandemic was and still is a serious universal threat to global tourism, we have to accept the fact that some destinations have and still continue to suffer and struggle with other challenges that are unique to them. We also need to agree and face reality that COVID-19 pandemic was not just a wake-up call to global tourism, but it also came to expose how vulnerable tourism is globally. This was evident by how long it took tourism players to come up with a universal tourism-led protocol to combat such a catastrophic pandemic. It's also evident on how fragmented tourism was and still is in implementing such protocols in different destinations and tourism subsectors. While travel sector got something to work with at this point during the pandemic, MICE and accommodation sector are still yet to get waterlight universal protocols. Tourism vulnerability was also exposed to how significantly voiceless the entire sector was both locally and internationally during the pandemic. While health sector was and still the predominant leader in matter disease outbreak, to some extent tourism sector voice continued significantly absent. As a result, tourism sector seemed to be mere customer of COVID-19 protocol rather than a contributor to formulation, implementation, and enforcement. For instance, while retail, manufacturing, and logistic sectors were considered for partial operation during tourism sector was completely shut down. Ironically, tourism sector was considered for critical protocols such as a hotel room being used as an isolation facility. While people would use public transport to get into supermarket under some guidelines and protocols, tourism suffered a complete lockdown under the blanket declaration. You ask yourself, where are you likely to contact COVID-19 between a room in a 3-star hotel and traveling with strangers in a local minibus? As tourism players, both locally and internationally, we must ask ourselves, what next? This is critical because we don't know what next. We need to ask ourselves some tough questions and seek to answer them ourselves. We need to ask ourselves the following 6 questions. What lesson have we learned from COVID-19? 2, were the protocol fair, appropriate to tourism risk of spreading COVID-19? 3, could things have been done differently? 4, what is the impact of the protocols? 5, where did we fail as tourism sector? 6, what we can do differently next time. Answering the 6 questions lead me to the title of my keynote today, Innovation at the Center of Tourism Recovery Preparedness. You will agree with me, the sector that remained afloat COVID pandemic are those that quickly embraced innovation, powered them with technology. For instance, school embraced e-learning, conducted classes online, churches started online services, retail shop started e-commerce platform, entertainers started online gigs, logistic companies started e-ordering complete with package tracking services, and so much more. As tourism sector, we must critically think through our process, services and product, and the purpose to innovate. We must take note of what other sector did during COVID-19 pandemic and ask ourselves, what did we do? How did tourism sector innovate? Were there opportunities we failed to seize? We also need to look into the future and throughout innovation thinking and the fact, ask ourselves, how ready are we for the next uncertainty? To get ready, we must do the following. 1, encourage tourism to adopt the right and new technologies. For many years, tourism had generally been a slow adopter of technology. It is sad that majority of technologies currently being used in many tourism facilities and establishment are old version and limiting. For instance, most of the system procured by most hotel, restaurant are standalone desktop software. Such systems are limited and unable to link with modern cloud-based systems, thus denying entities' ability to take advantage of data economy through intelligence, planning, and decision-making. We need to create strong awareness on the right technology tourism players should procure in their businesses and entities. This will make it easier. This will make it easier for entities and tourism as a whole to benefit from technological advancement. We need to start tourism technology sensitization program throughout the different tourism sectors and players without leaving anyone behind. 2, invest in tourism technology research, policies, and guidelines. While other industries invest time and resources to develop their own industry-led innovation, technologies, and guidelines, tourism sector has always been served by non-industry suppliers. While medics, researchers, academia, and other industries take time to define and give guidelines on technology they want for their industries, tourism lack framework, policy, fact on matters tourism technology. We have to liberalize, thrive, and expand of tourism industry. As a result, tourism critical data is inaccessible by players and policymakers. We need to invest in research, policies, and data that will help the industry in the journey to vibrant technology adoption and advancement. This will help the technology supply understand the industry and create solutions that work well in tourism sector. Number 3, accelerate tourism technology innovation ecosystem. The tourism technology innovation ecosystem is operating below possible capacity. It is time we embrace and accelerate tourism technology and innovation both locally and internationally. We need to provide platform where innovation such as HPAS and other local people can be identified, showcased, and nurtured. We need to allocate resources and identify financiers and investors who can support such innovation. We need to have regular tourism technology hackathon in various platforms across the industry, in our universities, and in our learning institutions. 4, develop tourism technology curriculum in our universities and colleges. Technology is critical in tourism sustainability, from changing customer demographic and literacy to integration of smart device in tourism destination and entities. It is critical that tourism technology is taught in our colleges and universities. This will create a pool of tourism professionals who are tech innovative and confident to serve the new traveler. It also will ensure the industry has pulled tech professionals who can advise investors the right technology. In conclusion, I'm persuaded that with the right tourism innovation, adequate tourism data and policy, we will accelerate tourism recovery across the globe. We will also be prepared to handle any future pandemic uncertainty. We will also have better facts to negotiate for a realistic measure for the industry, not only during pandemic, but also in the policy, funding, and critical decisions that affect our industry. It will be unfair if I finish the speech without recognizing IFFITT for noble role of championing tourism technology across the globe. I would wish to thank Dr. Munyiri, Dr. Mutinda, through whom this invitation was conveyed. I thank you all for your time and listening. Together, let's innovate for a better tourism industry, accelerated recovery, and preparedness. Thank you. I'll be doing a small presentation which asking us why we should innovate. Innovation opportunities in tourism, and you agree with me, there are so many. Given the opportunity in this land, there is a lot we can handle, and we have 5 of them, and that does not mean that is the end of the opportunity. They can go even to 1 million opportunities. And we'll start with the one visitor experience innovation. We have just heard from the hoteliers. One of them have shared on how they have innovated a system whereby people check in without a manpower at the reception, which is one of experiences we are offering at HPAS. Destination experience innovation, again, we have a lot which we can incorporate in the technology. Operation and administration innovation, promotion and marketing innovation, and future opportunities innovation. So why should we innovate? One of the major things is to accelerate innovation for the purpose of recovery and preparedness. You'll agree with me, if COVID found us when we had some innovation, we could have just walked in like the way you walk into a house and you're out. Ensure tourism, sustainability, and resilience across the globe. We will be able to sustain so many things if we are able to innovate, because when we innovate, you bring new ideas on board and ideas to solve the problem we may have on the ground. Ensure preparedness by providing tools, data, facts to mitigate adverse effect on future pandemic and uncertainty. You'll all agree that, yes, we had COVID with us. We don't know what is next coming on board. And it is a high time we also get to innovate so that we are able to look at the things which may come in the near future. Move to the next. And so here is a taste of visitor experience innovation. There will be a need for tourism innovation that will enhance the customer experience. The innovation could focus on assertive technology, easy communication, easy booking and ordering, easy check-in, and so much more. I think from the hotelier, Aswin, he have shared part of what they are doing in their hotel, and basically this is the part of the experience we are talking about in the tourism sector. Destination experience. These are innovation that will enable tourists and visitors experience their destination better than even having a tour guide on board. If we had such with when COVID struck, we have been able to send people still on various destinations, and they get to know what is happening on the ground without having a physical guide with them. We're also looking at it will ease finding trusted places and services such as local guides, event trusted news, contact of local authorities, attraction and trusted souvenirs vendors, and recommended prices. You will agree with me, the Kenya we are, most of the time, it's even you when you are moving around Kenya and walk into some of these people who sell souvenirs. Some they sell to a car. If you come in driving a big machine, they will sell to you with that. If they see a mzungu, the prices change. But we are looking at this innovation whereby we'll be able to tell our guests, our visitors, this is our vendors who will be selling this item to you at a rate whereby it will not change, depending with who comes in your shop or anywhere. There could be also, operation and administration innovation. It will help us have a better way of operation in terms of what we are engaging people on in terms of booking, the systems we have. If we innovate well, we'll be able to come up with a seamless booking system, which will be able to book a travel, book a hotel, and maybe a tour outside in the park. Promotion and marketing innovation. This is another innovation which we look forward to bring more revenue even in our country, because when you promote our country outside with the things you'll be selling, through the innovation we may have, we are able to target so many people outside Kenya and even Kenya itself. Last and not the least, our future opportunity innovation. Tourism. We have a big opportunity to make this world better, our nation better, by what we will come up with. And people are willing to support the new technologies we have on board if they are genuine and they are taking us somewhere in terms of revenue in our country. I don't know if you're able to. What is a good innovator? I believe we are all seated here, and part of the huge number here are looking forward to be an innovator. Number one quality is associating You have an idea to borrow in one area or another and inspire somebody else with whatever you have. At one point, we were told to interact with the people we find in this room, and I believe that was part of you getting to know what do you offer, what do you have. And after you learn what one have, you are able to either get the contact and move on and further that conversation to a better thing. The next thing is you have to question what you are innovating. Questioning here comes in the end product you are innovating. Who is the target market? Who are you looking at? What are the benefits of it innovating? Because it's one thing to innovate, it is another thing to be of help in the society and in the whole world. You observe there are no facts inside the building, only outside where the customers live. You have to observe as you innovate, what is that you are innovating? What are the benefits of it? Networking, it's a key thing for innovators. You'll agree with me, if you don't network, then you'll not be able to know this is a challenge for me, or I can make it better next time. And networking is you have to engage with the people who are moving, not only in the sector you are in, but even in other sectors, and get to know what is that they are innovating, what benefit, or how can I benefit even myself with my friends' innovation. Experimenting. Everything we have to experiment. For you to bring it on board or tell people this can work for me, or this has worked, or this will help in one way or another. So you must experiment. And so for the new upcoming innovators, this is just a part of what you can look at in many, many other avenues as we innovate. My CEO has always, he has this as a key thing for him and for us in the company, that I believe you have to be willing to be misunderstood if you are going to innovate. That was saying by Jeff Bezos, and you'll agree with me. Many people have to misunderstand what you are bringing on board until they see the result. And so when you're innovating and somebody come and tell you, I don't understand what is this you're talking about, that does not mean you fold your folders and go home and say, I have no innovation. Remember, you are the mind behind that innovation. Take it to the end until you convince people that whatever you have innovated is something to make life greater. I want to have a video, I hope it will go live, to explain more about HBAT. Sound.
As a nation moving to a future of one. A young and beautiful HBAT Global is a Kenyan startup company that has greatly benefited from the opportunities created by the government
pick 2-3 questions or a concern so that she's able to address them before we move to the next session. But from what I've gathered, this was indeed a keynote address. There are those 6 questions. What did we learn from COVID? Were the protocols fair? If we were able to travel in a matatu at half capacity, was it possible that we could have perhaps opened the hotels even at half capacity? Where did we fail as tourism? So we need to take stock and ask ourselves as tourism, as academia, where do you think we failed? And what could we, or perhaps how can you do it better? I picked about 4 of them. And you are told the issue is to innovate. Hoteliers were told that don't buy desktop gadgets, use the cloud computing for your hotel solutions. But above all, even us in academia, how are we teaching front office, for instance? Are we still teaching the old textbook approach where now guests are checking in from their phones at home? So do you think we need to look at even our curriculum? There is this app that I'd be interested to see in case you have it. Like an app that describes Kenya as a destination that is able to link the vendors, the local authorities, the police, and even these people that sell the souvenirs you said. So could we be having that technology as we speak? And remember, this is a local Kenyan company that is giving us solutions in tourism. So can I invite maybe three questions that she can respond to quickly? From this end, a question? Yes. Could you please give her?
My name is Zamzam from Kenya Utalii College. I just want to say thank you for the HPAS presenter and the good ideas she's given us. From where I'm seated, and a good question from the moderator. So many things were revealed through the pandemic. Many people ran with the pandemic and innovated. Hotels, our biggest product are rooms. How have we renovated these rooms? Or what different thing are we doing about our rooms? Matatus went to half capacity. Hotel closed. Business somehow continued, but hotel remained closed. To date, some big hotels, I think you've even heard on the news, Hilton is closing the door very soon. Those rooms, will they go to waste? As hoteliers, how can we rethink about our rooms and make them into business hubs? Business people used to run to hotels for businesses. Can hotels now become the business hub or a showcase for the business owners to come and use their rooms for display, showcase? I'm just thinking. I have no answer, I have no question, but just thinking loud.
Thank you. Next question from this end. I'll take 4.
I'm asking the HPAS Global about data security. When it comes to the hotel system they have established, that's my question. Like our personal data, if it's exposed or shared, like how do we follow up?
There is a question, Prof.
I have worked with one hotel that operates without any reception. That was in Helsinki, Finland. It's called Omena Hotel. Now, this hotel, it happens that the procedure is what you have explained. You just book online, get a code, enter into the main door, and you enter into the room door. Now, what I experienced is that there was a lot of prostitution. Prostitution in a manner that a lady or a man would book a room and then would come with several throughout the day, you see. And it was a concern because I was working there as an attendant. Then I'm wondering if there could be a solution to manage that. I don't know. Maybe it's something maybe you can think about, because I'm seeing that we are moving towards that reception-less kind of operation. Thank you.
Perhaps one last one.
But it can be a thought for us as HPAS to see how those rooms can be utilized by ensuring that maybe advice and maybe gather information on the ground over these businesses which are closing down. And I think it is part of what I said we need to have tourism, fraternity address some of these things. And yes, so that one for now, unless we get to see how we maybe could advise the hoteliers. About the data, we personally as HPAS, we have not gotten the clearance from Data Protection Act, but we are in consultation with them. But as we speak, we are working under Konza City umbrella, whereby we have our data stored there, and being a government entity, we want to confirm that the data we are collecting are safe, and we are also conscious of what we get from people going forward as we wait for clearance from Data Protection of Kenya. The other one from our brother here, it's a food for thought. And I would say for checking in and checking out at the hotel, the system we have one running in a hotel in Nakuru, which you don't just come in, check and check out, but there is a confirmation desk at the reception, whereby someone has to confirm the data you have given the right one. You not just be given the key to walk in. Somebody have to verify. Yes, you have checked in, but you have to pass by there and scan a QR code for you to get access and get the key to your room. So be able to tell who has come in, who has come out, and you cannot check in 2 or 3 people in the same room, because you're using, if that QR code is utilized, then you have no access, you not get a key because somebody has already picked the key for that. So unless you have checked in as maybe a couple, you will not be allowed to get into the room. Yes.
Thank you so much for that answer. How I feel that, one last question.
It's not a question, it's to support what Beth is saying. Because if you do not arrive there, the activation will not be done. And also that activation, that same activation is the same one you'll use in the lift and also on the floors. So there are security measures in some of these places, and I've had an experience. So you just don't walk in and check in online on your phone. There is some verification using the QR code. Thank you.
So you are saying at one time that Dr. Ray, and there are some questions that were key that maybe later in the day we need to address. As for now, I really think Beth deserves a big, big round of applause. So thank you very much. I want to hand over the program back to Esther. Thank you very much.
we are looking forward to the next event to learn more. Now, we request everyone to register. So we'll be guided on the registration, we'll be guided on the lunch. So for you to get the certificate for the students, please, you are required to pay the 200 for certificate. The rest of the team, you will get, of course, certificates, those that are registered. So thank you very much for your patience.
And what we went through in COVID, it is evident that we should really diversify our markets. And I've just been having a concept in my head. I requested Dr. Mutinda that I present. He was reluctant because I did not have methodology, but at the end of the day, I don't know whether I bulldozed, but somehow he allowed me to present, and I just have another hitch because the slides can't move. They say when do all trees fall? When it's the day of the monkey, eh? Whichever tree it gets hold of, it comes down, but I believe this tree won't come down now. So it's about, and I'm trying very much to do a slideshow, but I don't seem to be able. Okay, it's about luxury brands. Do we have luxury brands in Kenya in terms of the hotel sector? Give me examples. Okay, so let me define luxury brands, and then I'll request that you give me one or two examples. A luxury brand is associated with perceptions of high level of price. That's one quality. Aesthetics, rarity, extraordinariness, and a high degree of non-functional associations. And when they market themselves, they go contrary to the marketing rules. For example, they are rare. Maybe you need to book a room and you're told you need to wait for the next 3 months for you to be able to get the room. And probably the room is going to be sold to you at 300,000 per night. Okay? Their market is actually called the anti-laws of marketing. They go contrary to marketing. Do we have such a brand in Kenya? You want to try? Yes. They charge that much?
Yes, thank you.
Is it easy for me to get a booking, or do I have to wait? Is it rare? Is there scarcity?
It's rare.
Okay.
Yeah. I will remember the name in the course of the conference.
So we can be able to say maybe we have a few, but not many enough. And that is a gap I'm trying to identify, because we need to sell something different from what we've been selling for a while. So think about that private jet, and that gives you sort of a background of what iconic luxury is all about. And that is where we need to push the tourism industry and hospitality in Kenya too. And luxury is not a new thing. It started in the 90s. That's my first bullet, which is not so clear. But it has grown considerably. The reason for the growth of the luxury sector is there's rising demand for luxury goods. Why is there rising demand? The people who with a high income bracket is increasing, and there's also increased spending, which is encouraging many of us who fall in the middle class to probably procure these services. Hence the need for more luxury brands in Kenya. So we are saying now luxury is not for the royalties only. The middle class should be able to afford it. And this process has been called democratization of the luxury market. So if you look at luxury brand strategy, to establish a strategy, you need to understand the characteristics of luxury. The financial value, it should be high. Then there's the functional value, the individual value, and the social value. Those are characteristics of brand strategy, and I'll be looking at them in a short while. So, like I said earlier, when you market for the luxury industry, the kind of marketing tools you'll use are developed differently, and they are developed by top leading successful brands in order to communicate brand value. And when you are in luxury brands marketing, competition does not arise. You are not competing with anyone. So you should not do any benchmarks to find out how has, for example, Serena furnished their hotel after renovation, or Sarova, or whichever other one. Because another characteristic of luxury brands is uniqueness. So there's no competition, all right? So I just gave an example of that brand. How do we pronounce it? Cartier. Okay, it's, what do they deal with? Jewelry, watches. So this is just an example, and on the next slide I'll give an example of another one. But one of the things about luxury brands is they don't succumb to the demands of customers. They will not caress your wishes, okay? They keep non-enthusiasts out of the game. They dominate the client. You are not the one to dominate them. And I'm still thinking of how many of such establishments do we have in Kenya, which will not pamper you, which will not give you customer satisfaction surveys. It's taking it to the next level. So this is another case of a luxury brand, the Hermes. It's from Paris, quite old, started in the 18th century. They used to make sandals for people who were on horses and all that. Today, for you to get this kind of bag that the lady is carrying, you book, you wait for 6 months for it to be crafted. Like you see there, their brand promise is a combination of rich heritage, exquisite craftsmanship, eye for detail, high level of quality, professionalism through the manufacturing process. Hence, this bag is very rare, exclusive, superior, competitive in a ruthless world of luxury. So you'll wait for around 6 months and you'll buy the bag for around 1.2 million shillings. Are we able to sell our products to that level of clientele? Instead of doing the mass tourism we have been doing, selling cheap, as we move towards sustainable hospitality and tourism, if we can get a few tourists who are able to spend this much, I think it would be a better destination. So those are just two examples from non-hospitality. Ritz-Carlton, it's an iconic luxury hotel, and of course they deal with the finest people in the world. Are we able to attract the finest in Africa? And so, of course, the rating of Ritz-Carlton is very good. The ambience, their marketing mix, it is different. Are we able to look at the marketing mix of this kind of establishments? So, like I said, this is a gap. I say this is a concept. This is a gap. I don't see many of such establishments in Kenya and in Africa, yet we are endowed with all the resources that would attract the luxury market. So there's a quote there: customers purchase luxury products or services to satisfy their individual role-playing dreams, which they become heroes. When you sell luxury, you sell 360 degrees experience, not just a product. Are we selling a 360-degree experience? Now I'm going to put that on hold. I'll bring in something new and then I'll connect the two. And if I'm time bad, Dr. Bichage will warn me, but it was my classmate, so I know he's likely to give me an extra 2 minutes. Reality versus fiction. I've put that on hold and I'll pick it on it later. Is money a reality or fiction? Reality. Are religions reality or fiction? Are corporations reality or fiction? Look at Apple there and Meta. So some are reality, others are fictions, okay? So in our world today, we are becoming more and more a mix of the two, a symbiosis of reality and fiction, and we are becoming more augmented, reality kind of human beings, and I think those a lot younger than me, who are mostly at the back, understand this better than I do. So we are moving to the metaverse, a world full of fiction. How many of us have heard about the metaverse? Just one person to tell us, what is a metaverse? A metaverse? Mike, Dr. Njau, do you want to explain what's a metaverse? Or Dr. Mengo? They can't hear. Where's the other mic?
First, it's digital. It doesn't exist in your actual world. And so even the values that translate there are also not set in reality. Yes.
There's another world now. Dr. Njau?
It's something like utopia. It's something that you can't put your own in, but it's digital.
Yes.
So it's something in their minds. They're thinking so fast, and things are moving so fast that things are changing too fast. You can't put a name to it, but it's like utopia.
But is it just in the mind, or is there a real metaverse now? It's a reality.
It's coming.
Dr. Njoroge, you've heard about the metaverse.
For me, I think it's digital related to 3D, whereby,
Yes.
yeah.
And it does exist now. You can actually subscribe and go in. So in that world, you can choose where to live. You can choose the car to drive. You can choose the dress to wear. You can decide who will be your neighbor based on how much you pay there. We are moving to a world where we'll not need to buy real houses, we'll not need to buy real cars, we'll not need to buy real clothes. You do it in the metaverse, and the people there can be able to see you and you make a statement. That is where we are moving to, and we are seeing that in the movies we are watching, how our future will look like. If we are moving there, are we prepared for it in hospitality and tourism, where I'll feel good to be in a real skeleton in the metaverse? And I feel good because staying next to me is maybe Bill Gates. He's in the next room, okay? But for me to be able to afford a room next to that of Bill Gates, probably I have to part with several millions of shillings. That's where we are moving to. Yes? Yes, the Bitcoin. All right? So let me just show you a short clip, and Dr. Bichage will tell me if I'm time bad. You'll tell me if you have seen it. Just 1 minute. Something I saw. Oh. Has it disappeared? Remember, the airline industry is part of hospitality. So that is the direction we are moving, to pure fiction. So moving on with my presentation, I'm almost through. And the aim of this presentation is just to challenge all of us. Metaverse has been defined as the emerging 3D-enabled digital space that uses virtual reality, augmented reality, and other advanced internet semiconductor technology to allow people to have life like personal and business experiences. So you do everything online. So you'll find in this metaverse, designer brands now are dressing avatars, you get this kind of things. Fashion shows have started taking place on the metaverse. All right? So this is the first citizen hospitality company which has built on the metaverse. It is there. I don't want to read this literature, but I'm just tempted to read a few lines. By June 28th, there were 1,563 views. It is in the metaverse world. Any player can enter and enjoy the game experience for free. It's more like what people do on PS4, PS5, and all that. So the metaverse has spaces. Each planet has a total of more than 1,600 towns, 690 second-class cities, and 55 first-class cities, with a huge world with more than 510 million square kilometers in the metaverse. In here, you can be neighbors with your friends, drive, walk or fly to explore and travel around the world. You can climb mountains to watch the sunrise and experience 4 different seasons. So you can go through spring, autumn, summer, winter, all that. You can also take a spacecraft to visit players on other planets. In the metaverse game world, players need to improve their life skills and together with other players develop their own city. Every day is a whole new exploration and challenge. Want to experience an exciting second life? In the world of Meta-City M, we make life fantasy possible. So earlier on I had spoken about luxury brands. Where are luxury brands in all this? Luxury is based on a power brand. A strong brand, metaverse or vision makes a brand, a luxury brand, right? So this is sort of to help you understand the normal hospitality and tourism we are selling is probably just selling the emotional and rational bit. But when you go a notch higher, you have the rational, the emotional product, then the element of fiction. Remember, luxury is dream marketing. You just make people dream, okay? And you appeal to their emotional. So that is a bit which differentiates normal brands from luxury brands. And here is the world of fiction. So, and it makes the whole difference. Luxury is about added value. Look at this statement. Water is not water when it is Chanel, all right? Chanel is a brand, right? Those who like designer brands, you know about Chanel? It's a brand. But when I take water branded Chanel, it's not like taking this one branded Murang'a University, with all due respect. I'll be ready to pay 20,000 for it because it is Chanel. Are there people ready to pay for that? Yes. Why are we not tapping them and bringing them to our country? We know of a model who is always here, Naomi Campbell. We can have a lot more Naomi Campbells. They have money to spend. This is the direction we need to take our country. And just one more thing before I settle. If it is not possible to start the luxury brand from zero, there's something they are calling now brand extensions. You ride on an existing luxury brand, like this one is Armani. Heard about Giorgio Armani? Giorgio Armani, now they have opened a cafeteria in Milan. It's easy for people who use Giorgio Armani to patronize that cafeteria. So you can leverage on an existing brand to have a brand extension, or you can just change the way you are doing your marketing and packaging your product so that you target the luxury market. So for me, I'm seeing maybe 3 gaps. Here I've written 2. One, we trainers. Are we training? Do we have a course in luxury marketing? What made me think about this is a student, a class, an online class I teach in Switzerland, and I realized these are things they learn in their program. Are we teaching about luxury marketing? Are we doing enough research in luxury marketing? And to the hospitality and tourism industry, are they targeting the iconic luxury or what we call luxury in Kenya is which is the best hotel in Nairobi? Maybe Sankara, Kempinski. Are they at this level? Thank you very much.
What a discussion. Doc, I'm reminded of quantum physics and nanotechnology. So I don't know if I should allow for 2 comments, a question. If I should allow for a comment or a question. Daktari, you talked about a high degree of non-functional association. What could that possibly mean? And secondly, do you think Kenya, we are ready for such a market? And if we were to construct such a facility, do you think Nairobi is the best location, or we choose one, perhaps in Masai Mara, and build that extra brand that you're talking about? Those are my concerns. Can I allow a comment or a question? Yes. Give the gentleman the mic.
So that's a nice presentation about luxury. My question is, the luxury market is a very, very small market. And would you prefer, or is it right to have a larger mass market tourism that contributes more to the GDP, or a small luxury market which also contributes high, but it's harder to achieve compared to the mass tourism market, bearing in mind that when you have that luxury market, it may not be an inclusive market, because it's a very, very exclusive market for the high-end clients. So if you want to include tourism, like domestic tourism, then mass tourism is maybe the way to go. So I don't know, what would you prefer, a larger mass market that contributes more, or a small luxury market that is just there? Thank you.
Thank you. Another? Yes, give him the mic.
Thank you. I just wanted to note the lodge that I was talking about is Sirikoi Lodge. They claim they charge the room 300,000, and I wonder whether that is, compares to what you have shown as Daktari.
Thank you. Maybe one more? One more. So there's none. So Doc is asked, should we look for this market and forget about the mass market, or we do the mass market and forget about this, or you think we could do both at the same time? Thank you.
I know my friend Dr. Ray is a great campaigner of sustainable tourism, and I'll ask him to help me answer the question of, should we focus on the mass market that we are right now, or should we move that direction, or both? Dr. Ray, kindly help your sister.
My pleasure to do so. Yes, I'm a campaigner for sustainability, but sustainability also in incorporating competitiveness. My take would be, looking from a destination point of view, then we need to look at product diversification. In the same market, there will be the market that will go for the mass. In the same market also, we also need to differentiate and have also provision for the high-end market. And so that is what now she's talking about, the market for these luxury brands. Then it will not be the budget traveler or the mid-scale traveler, but the high-end market. And so we need to have a provision for them. And my take would be, we integrate the two within the market and provide for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. That's also my position. And today we have 500 men watching one lion. If you have been to the Mara in July, you know that is what is happening. And then also we are saying now the luxury is no longer just for the royals. There is democratization. There is a good captive market from the middle class, especially the upper middle class, that is able to afford this. And yes, that lodge indeed falls in that category. Thank you.
Okay, can you please give the mic?
Thank you. This is Dr. Njao, Kenya Utali College. On the issue of the metaverse, I'm still thinking it's a comment, not a question. You see now with 3D technology, they are able to produce this chair. They are able to make a bed. They are able to do a sofa. What does that mean for us in the economy? And it's happening even in Kenya. Some of the people already have those machines that are doing that. That means our education system, will we be training the architects who yet I can immediately just put a button, switch on a button and have a chair made, have a house built? What does that mean for us for the future? Okay. Thank you.
Dr. Bito.
I'll take one last one. Yes, Dr. Bito.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Mutumbi, for that presentation. Prof. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, when we talk about the metaverse and the aspect of technology, so we are consumers of the technological innovations, and when we talk about the metaverse and the tourism industry, where do we fall? Would we wish to be the developers or the consumers of these technologies? Thank you.
Thank you. Do we need?
I think you can take those.
Okay. Should we be developers or consumers? For the longest time, we've been consumers when someone else is making the decision of the script. Why can't we also be developers? And that ties with what Dr. Njao has asked. I've heard severally, we don't know the jobs of the future. I don't know that you are aware of that. And us as trainers, what we need to do is not remain so rigid. We really have to keep doing research and trying to know where is the world knowing. Otherwise, we are going to be obsolete to these young people. Is that so? At times, we teach you things and you're like, mwalimu ni aje, So, yes, we don't know about the jobs of the future. There'll still be jobs maybe to make that chair, to make that table on the metaverse. But of course, the physical world is not going anywhere. It will still be here. It is just now, as people move in that direction, we do not want to be left behind. Let us also be in that space as we open this kind of space. Thank you.
If we were to put such a facility there, are we going to attract people to go and allow them to use that road, or you think it will be off-grid, like in Masai Mara, like in Samburu, like in Turkana? Well, what is your take?
I would base it on a feasibility study, or she wants to help me.
I think we got it wrong. In fact, we are trying to now derail Dr. Mutungi from where she was. She's telling us metaverse is actually a fiction. And I want to relate to my earlier statement. We have hotels with no occupancy. Dr. Mutungi is telling us people now are occupying fictitious hotels in the space, and they are willing to pay for those fictitious rooms in the space. So actually here, she's not referring to physical building. Is that true?
Yes, it's twofold. Yeah. We need the luxury hotels that is asking where we can have them. So of course, that would be based on feasibility studies. Yeah. But I'm also saying we think about the next level. After we have the physical, can we also have those on the metaverse? And that's what you're saying. So we need both based on feasibility studies. Mm. Yes, but there's a ready market. willing to spend so much. Someone will buy a dress for 2 million so that it looks like that of Kate Middleton, and she'll want to be her neighbor on the metaverse. There are people ready with that kind of money.
I wanted to add down this. I come from Western. There's a client in Europe who has never been to Western Kenya. Now, I create Western Kenya in a metaverse and sell it. Somebody, because of my culture, that Mzungu seated in Europe or something, he gets attracted to my culture and he wants to learn this culture from where he is. So by this metaverse concept, he's able to actually fly into Kakamega, fictitiously, live with me for 1 year, depending on what he wants to learn. And you know, he acquires that knowledge from wherever place he is. He can speak the Luya, he can cook the mlenda, he can do everything. Because I've brought now Western Kenya to the cloud. And there's somebody who wants to consume this culture. That's how I got it.
Yeah, thank you for helping me. Dr. Cecilia.
Yeah, thank you. The story of innovations excites me. And I want to share about the opportunities, because you asked a question, and actually Dr. Bitok asked if we will be consumers or creators. Because the opportunities are there, and that is actually for real. In Kenyatta University, we have a Chandaria Innovation and Incubation Center, Business Incubation Center. I am incubating there for a project of making an engine that does not use fuel, working on it. But the question is, how many among the people that I meet there when we meet as incubatees and mentors, I rarely see colleagues in the hospitality and tourism industry. Not that they are not ideas. I think we just need to wake up to the core that we actually can be incubators there. You can incubatees there. We can be people who will be developers of great ideas. For example, before we knew it, hotels were almost vacant because Airbnb has taken over, and everyone is selling their small rooms in their compounds in the cities. Before we knew it, because I used to run a taxi, a travel company. And airport transfer was one of the biggest business, because I was based in Eldoret initially. From Eldoret to the airport in Eldoret was very, very few kilometers, and we used to charge 1,500 for an airport transfer. But I can tell you no one will pay that now. So that business for a travel agent is gone. Because we have Wasili, we have Uber, and many other travel apps. So the question is, are these apps being done by us who know the projects or products that we need to sell, or they are being made by others and they come actually with a lot of side effects because they don't take care of that need that we have been studying or professing for a long time. And so we find side effects of the products that not actually take care of the tourist. So I think we just need to wake up to that call and become developers, even in the metaverse.
You can take a last one from Dr. Isabella.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mutungi. That was a very interesting presentation. What is the difference between this and virtual reality? I don't know whether...
Does anyone want to help me with that? What is the difference between this virtual metaverse and virtual reality?
Mengo, could you assist me? Give her. And we make that the last question. This one, here.
Virtual reality and augmented reality, they are the techniques that now the metaverse, if you want to create a metaverse, you use the virtual reality technique to create the metaverse.
Thank you, Doctor.
Actually, it's a technique to create an imaginary image.
I think you could proceed, Dr. And
Thank you so much. Next is Dr. Mengo Mbisi. I'll just put up her slides and then she'll come.
so as Dr. Mengo is coming to speak to us, Doc, it was a concept, but you can see it's eliciting a lot of discussion. And that tells you that you should proceed with it.
Thank you.
When there's a discussion and people asking questions, that tells you that could be an area of interest. Actually, I saw two very nice gaps. Do we need to do luxury marketing as a course in our universities? Which I really think is perhaps quite important. So can we give a clap to Dr. Mtungi?
I don't know how long Dr. Bichaki is going to give me. Unlike Dr. Mutungi, I'm not his friend. So I don't know how long he's going to give me. But I'll try to run through before he chases me from the podium. Unlike Dr. Mutungi, I don't know whether my topic is as exciting as hers, but I will try to make it very exciting, extremely exciting, in fact. So, what I wanted to speak about today, and it's not a full paper yet as well, still working on that. Thank you. Still working on it as well. And I'm sure it's something we have all experienced at one time or another during these COVID times. It's about concerts, and the COVID concerts to be specific. I'm sure we have experienced concerts, music events, and I think during this time I am hopeful that we have also been able to experience COVID concerts. I want to open with this statement. It's just one statement, but I've broken it down just for easy readability. Fortnite, it's a streaming platform, yeah. Fortnite partnered with artists such as Travis Scott, BTS, Diplo, and The Weeknd to host a live, interactive, virtual concert. Three things: live, interactive, virtual, right? On TikTok, that pulled in more than 2 million total unique viewers. At its peak, the event recorded 275,000 concurrent viewers. I want us to think about that. The event itself had 2 million viewers from around the world, right? If you think about live events, that goes above and beyond the numbers that you would actually experience in a live event. So I want us to think about that as we go through this session. So events are basically gatherings of people for various reasons, whether it is concerts, whether it is sports, funerals, what have you. We are looking at concerts specifically. A concert is described as a music performance. Number one, there's a performance of a certain artist. And number two, there has to be an audience appreciating the performance. So just a comparison. When we think about events or concerts, first of all, it is, let's hope that won't die before I finish. First of all, it is people coming together, people interacting, you know, people having fun with each other, talking and singing, singing along, feeling the performance, right? It is people in the same space. And of course, because you're in the same space and you're experiencing the performance, there is a lot of interactions. And that is what an event, a concert is focused towards. However, all of these things that you would get to enjoy within a concert, when COVID came, it's actually now eliminated. Okay. Thanks. When COVID came, it actually now eliminated all of the things that you would get to enjoy during a concert. Sorry? Share the screen. I'm not sharing. Is it there? Okay, thank you. So when COVID came, actually it went ahead to eliminate all of these things that we, and all of these things that we get to enjoy about concerts, right? Whereas we want to go to a concert to interact with the people, COVID came and told us, no, you're supposed to keep your distance. So of course now we can't go to a concert and keep distance, it's very hard. But I'm sure there are some concerts which were being held and you could see people in small bubbles. I don't know whether you saw those. They were in small bubbles and trying to enjoy the concert as well, but of course it's different. Whereas we get to interact, and the point of a concert is to interact, you are told you have to wear a mask, you have to avoid crowded places, you know. You have to have very few interactions in person. So actually, all of the positive things that you get to enjoy within a concert because of COVID were minimized or eliminated completely, right? So, so what then musicians ended up trying to do, because of course that is their livelihood and that is their artistic expression as well, is to try to come up with ways to respond to that and get creative around that. So they went around all of these interactions and social distancing by trying to have virtual performances where they were streaming their concerts. So a virtual performance basically was the performer expressing themselves artistically with a camera in that space and maybe a set, yeah? And the audience now, because we said a concert must have an audience, now the audience views the performance on gadgets. During this time, we saw two types of events. Number one, there were the live events where you can actually follow in real time, react in real time and all of that. And also there were pre-recorded events. So the artist records, then uploads maybe to a streaming platform, then you get to enjoy it. The advantage of both of these eventually is that they would be available afterwards. So just a bit of data about the most viewed virtual events that we had. There is a Korean group called BTS. The people at the back, I'm sure you know, Dr. Bichake doesn't know BTS, I'm very sure. You know BTS at the back, right? You know BTS, right? Okay, fine. So BTS, and your yeses are very feeble yeses. So BTS holds the world record for the most viewers for a music concert. During the event, they hit a top number of 756,000 during the event. This was in June 2020. And then some 2 months ago, I think it was sometime in July or so, the Chinese version of TikTok, it's called Douyin. Also, there was a performer. He's a classical singer, and he performed there, and within the 2 hours, they managed to hit 350 million viewers within that time, within the 2 hours, right? So again, just think about that number, 350 million, not thousand, million from around the world, you know? Those are mind-boggling numbers, right? Probably not, if it was a live event, probably he would not have been able to fill a stadium like that, you know? So, going back to events, and now rethinking events, now that we see that, yes, there is the option of us going online and streaming and offering this service online and these performances online. The question I was exploring when I was looking at this is, number one, will they still be unique? Because one of the major characteristics of events is that they're unique, right? They are one-time occurrences, for example. Will they still be unique? Number two, will these experiences still be exclusive? You know, when you go, the other day there was Oktoberfest at Ngong Rescos, yeah? Ideally, when there's an event like that, it's supposed to be exclusive. It's a one-time thing, you know? And it's exclusive to the people who are attending it at the time. So that, you know, you will have a story years later about that particular event. It's supposed to be exclusive. It's not supposed to be readily available and replicable, right? So by us moving online, are we losing that exclusivity of the events that is unique to events? And thirdly, I was also looking at what aspects of now events or concert hosting is going to now change irrevocably from this experience, right? Now, to answer these questions, what I did is to look at two types of concerts. The first concert is by our brothers, Sauti Sol. Sauti Sol had a midnight train concert where they were launching the album. How many watched this, by any chance? How many watched this? We're not Sauti Sol fans. My goodness, only 4 people. We're not Sauti Sol fans. It was sometime last year. They actually launched the whole album online on YouTube on a Saturday night. Nyinyi ni wawapi? Right. So I looked at the Midnight Train album, just the particular performance. And I looked at something else which interests me because I watch it. It's a DJ, DJ Cassidy has a DJ mix where he brings in different artists. Anybody has watched this one? It's called Pass the Mic. Anybody has watched it? If you have not watched it, I strongly advise you do watch it. It's really nice. Anyway, so Sauti Sol are Kenyan, and the reason I chose both of them is Sauti Sol is local, DJ Cassidy is international, so it would give various views to it. So Sauti Sol is Kenyan, and that event happened in 2021, January 28th. I remember it was on a Saturday evening. Within 12 hours on YouTube, they had garnered 210,000 views. And currently, I just checked earlier, they are at 1.3 million views for the album launch, which is a good figure. Could be higher, but it's a good figure nonetheless. DJ Cassidy is a DJ who does a lot of mixes from the 70s to the 2000s. And Pass the Mic, basically what it does is it fills he DJs, and then it fills musicians from their homes, and then he merges them together. I don't know how else to describe it. So he's DJing, but the musicians are singing, but he's also DJing. You need to watch it, is the point. I'm describing it poorly. So just from that, right? I don't know whether you can see that. Just from that, I did a comparison between the concerts. Number one, for in-person concerts, they are very one-time performance concerts. You really have to be there and experience the hype, and feel it there. For COVID concerts, they're always there in future, so you can view it in future. You don't have to experience it at the time. You can even stop watching it at some point, then come back and watch it later, Now, that affects an event experience if you think about it, yeah? It affects how you get to experience and enjoy the event. Secondly, in-person concerts, you can sing and dance and chant and move together. If Sauti Sol is singing inauma, unaweza sikia vile inauma, right? Now feel vile inauma, especially if you've gone through a heartbreak. Anyway, on the other hand, the fact that you're laughing means you have gone through heartbreaks. On the other hand, when we are having COVID concerts, now you're just singing inauma in your house. And you're not feeling it with the crowd. That's a good thing about events and concerts. You feel a collective feeling within the crowd, right? And not only that, the interactions that you have are just pressing a button for the like or for thumbs up. There's very little emotion involved in responding to the performance that is going on. Which brings me to stronger experiences, of course. When you're in person, the experience is stronger. You're swept away more and all of that. In COVID concerts, yes, you can be enjoying the live concert together. So you are remote, but you're together. You're apart, but you're together. So there's the remote togetherness, yeah? The affective end of concerts also, the feelings that you experience when in the concert, because again, it's very hard to go for a concert and leave just like that unless you have a rock hard heart, So of course there's going to be some affective responses for you, whether you cry, whether you laugh, whether there's going to be some responses from you. But in COVID concerts, again, the feelings are tempered down because you can turn down the music. You can walk away from the streaming and things like that, yeah? And there are live reactions, live raw feedback. Even the performer can actually interact with the audience and feel the feedback from the audience. Whereas in COVID concerts, the way the performer is interacting through emojis, for example, just a button, they can actually they are just seeing the likes piling up, but there is no exchange of emotion at any time. During my research, what I also found just a couple of the platforms which have been used for streaming this include YouTube, TikTok, Fortnite. Fortnite is an immersive one. It's almost like a gaming world as well. Facebook, Instagram. And what I also found out is Spatial Web. Spatial Web is a company which actually came up during COVID specifically to curate concerts because they were able to get the video and the audios down very well. So they actually came up and that is the service that they actually offer. So you see, it's positive as well because companies will actually be able to be created during this time. What aspects have undergone innovation? Number one, ticketing. One thing about physical events that we always used to worry about, even this one, is how are we going to sell tickets? How are we going to distribute the tickets? How are we going to print the tickets to be able to identify the people who are arriving at our event, right? So both of these events that I was researching on were free, and how the artists were now ending up making their money is from the subscribers in the channels, and this is YouTube, right? Which goes now to ask the question, is this financially viable, especially for the artists? Because this is how they make their bread and butter. Is this going to be financially sustainable for them? Is it going to make them enough money, them streaming concerts online, and a lot of them for free? Because there were very few concerts which were actually paid up. So is it financially sustainable for the performers? Number two, the second aspect is queuing. Whereas we used to go for concerts, we have to queue to get our tickets, queue to go and drink tea, queue for everything. Now there were non-existent queues. People can come and go as they please, for example. There are no protocols to be observed, so, there's no wait time. The question this leads to now is, part of the excitement of a concert is that the anticipation of going in and experiencing the space and experiencing the music and all of that, right? So does this lack of queuing then reduce the anticipation and the excitement, that you feel when you're waiting to experience the concert? And if it does reduce it, then how can we re-inject this feeling into people so that they can get excited and look forward to a concert? The third aspect that changes is the artistic needs on site. A lot of times when events are physical, there are a lot of needs, there are a lot of things they need to prep on site that they need to prep before they hold the concert, right? But now it has reduced to something as simple as they just need equipment where they're playing their music, for example, the microphone and the set and a stage, the setup, right? So this might affect because now, of course, now we'll have crew who do not have jobs because, they're event crews, they're used to coming up with lighting and photos and sound and all of that. So we have fewer setup crews. And actually, nowadays, you can actually, so long as you have a good, phone and a tripod, and you can actually set up your own concert, Number four is now the choice of venue. Whereas in traditional concerts, then you have to think about the venue and think about, oh my gosh, how many people are going to arrive? How are they going to go through the space, for example? Where are the VIPs going to sit? Where is this going to happen? All of that, right? But now, with these COVID concerts, the only things that you need actually is, number one, think of the artist because they're the ones who are performing. On the side of the audience, they now think about, just as long as they have good bandwidth, umeka bundles, you have good audio, your system is good, you have good speakers for you to be able to enjoy the music. So now, what we used to what we used to tax the performance with handling for us now has been transferred to the audience. Now it's the audience who have to make sure they have good sound, they have good bandwidth, they have something they can view on properly, you know. So this has been transferred to the audience. Lastly, in terms of the audience, whereas traditional concerts, again, you are able to fragment the audience. You can have VIPs, you can have VVIPs, you know, they can pay higher for different sets of experiences and things like that. Now it is, a lot of times it's an equal playing ground, right? So when that happens, the feeling of exclusivity is negated, right? Then maybe people don't feel like they pay more for a better experience, something like that. You know, the way VIPs just sit right in front of maybe the performer to get to experience the performance up close and personal. Now that exclusivity is reduced, which means also even the money that the artist is making from these VVIPs is reduced as well. So along with that, along with the questions that I've asked, another direction to look at it from is what are the effective impacts of COVID concerts? As we continue to innovate and go online and stream, how can we plug into audience emotions? Because emotions are a very big part of an audience interaction within a concert. How can we, yes, stream, but at the same time plug in and make sure that audiences feel the emotions? I wanted to, I don't know whether this will play, people at the event, right? And she was able to actually speak to them and them speak back, and she's asking them where they're from, and she can actually see the people from Germany, from Italy, from wherever. So they were actually able to experience directly and interact directly with the speaker. But then again, this is in a very specific, it's a very specific concept, and it was specifically for paid viewers who wanted to experience this particular performer live, and they actually paid for it and paid for the interaction that they got, and not only through the chat, but verbal interaction. All right? So I think I can stop that. Right, so that was the end of my presentation, Dr. Bichage.
Then I think you can take a few questions. But what I can guarantee you is that Dr. Ray and I will watch past the mic tonight. At least, Doc, I know you're not watching it. We will try and watch it tonight online. Now, there were issues like when you watch live, feelings, you can get goosebumps, tears, heartwarming feelings, etc. But again, you saw that there are things that you are going to lose. Like there's no queuing, there's no artistic needs on site, so artists are going to save on the need to buy equipment. So I think there's an issue of give and take. You have to look at the opportunity cost. What do you gain by doing it virtually? But again, in the morning, you are told that how can we do things differently, if you remember the keynote address. And I think she's trying to see how we are going to do things differently now after the COVID issues. So there's something else that I thought, there's one more benefit. There was this artist in America who had a concert, and somebody went and shot a lot of children. If you remember, was it last year? What was her name? Ariana Grande. Yeah, at least I know Ariana Grande. There was a concert where somebody went and shot a lot of people. So in the process now, when it's virtual, we eliminate a terrorist going to the plan to go and kill people. And this is a threat that we even have here in Kenya.
One word in my topic was rethinking. Things are changing. We have to move with the times. Things are changing. In the same way, as an industry, we thought Airbnb will not pick up, and we fought it in very many ways. And right now, we are the same people, individually, who have Airbnbs in our SQs and in our own houses, things are changing. We need to rethink the traditional way we have been doing things and to move into a new way of doing it. Even if it includes, yes, even changing the definitions of what we know as tourism, we need to rethink a lot of things because that's how the world is moving. I think that would be my comment at the end of all of this. We need to just rethink all of the traditional things we have been learning, all of the classical ways we have been taught what an event is and what tourism is and what hospitality is. We need to rethink because otherwise we'll be left behind and we'll just be watching as things move. That is my comment, I think, on top of all of this. Lastly, Dr. Bichage, let me just announce every single person who has taught me so that because now every single, surely, Dr. Mary, who is standing and now sitting down again, was my supervisor and my teacher. Dr. Sisinio was also my supervisor, my teacher at some point. Dr. Mapeli was also my teacher. Surely, igraji niache kuambiwa na sawa walimu wengine. All right, thank you very much. Oh, there is, let me see. Wow. That font. Okay. Same, there's a message, I don't know from who. Same with attending a virtual conference. We are not feeling we are not feeling that you who are there physically, right? This is somebody online, same thing. Yes, the world is changing every day. So the two concepts are welcome, but something must be done to trigger the young minds to think big concerning employment since ICT, to think big concerning employment since ICT is replacing us at a very high rate. And that's what, again, the undergraduate students that we have, that's what we hope these conversations are triggering in you. There are jobs which exist now, which I can tell you for free, didn't exist 10 years ago in 2012. There are social media managers, for example. We didn't know who social media managers were. We were calling them marketing managers and we used to trust them with everything. But now there's a social media manager who lives in Turkey and is managing the social media campaign for your hotel, and you have never met that person. But they're actually running your social media campaign, your Instagram, your TikTok, your Facebook, your website, and you've never met them. So there are jobs which will exist in the next 10 years by the time Ruto is ending his term, that do not exist right now. So we are hoping these are the kind of conversations we are having to trigger you to think outside of what is going on right now and to think to the next step, right? They say if you're not, for you to be innovative, if you're not at the edge of the cliff in innovation, you're already taking up too much space. So we are hoping these conversations are pushing you to the edge of the cliff so that you can think about what's next and what extra thing can actually come out of this. Thank you, Dr. Bichage, and thank you for not chasing me away.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mengo. Maybe what she didn't say is that she's also my mentee. I was her chairman, I mentored her, and when I left Karatina, I gave her that position as the chair of a department. So they were your teachers, but I was your employer directly. And we are proud of you. So thank you very much for this session. And I want to hand over the mic back to Dr. Mutinda. Thank you.
So today's meeting with a really great pleasure. My trust is that we are learning and gaining from the experiences with each other. And those who may recall what we had put in the letters we were telling you to come for this event, we mentioned about sharing research findings. And we also talked about sharing experiences and best practices. So by the time we're going to be leaving here, please tick what you have gained out of those. And we also added there that we are going to have an opportunity to network between the students and their lecturers in the academic world, the practitioners, and the policymakers. So we trust that at the end of the day, you'll have made one important connection with your fellow students, those of us who are students, and with somebody from the industry or from another university. That's something that we do expect out of at the end of these presentations. So I thank you most sincerely for that. I want to appreciate the presenters that took their time and the moderators who took us through this session. Can we give them a round of applause? Thank you very much. So that goes to all of us who have done some presentation and borrowed a session. And so now we look forward to tomorrow. Tomorrow we're looking at an address in the morning by Esri, who are going to be telling us about the ICT applications for tourism resilience, and have an interesting panel, which I mentioned in the morning, by the women in tourism. So that's a session that I expect all of us are going to be in, sitting and listening throughout the entire session. We expect to receive a presentation from Travelport, who did not manage to meet us today, and so they may be coming in tomorrow at the point that Dr. Mary was supposed to be doing her presentation, which she has done today. So I want to thank you, and I want also to take this opportunity to wish you a great evening. Please, those who came to visit us in Murang'a, Murang'a is not only green, but it's also great. So green and great. And so for that case, we want to request you kindly. We are in tourism, and we practice what we preach. So for that case, then I want to invite all of you to find space within Murang'a and try to see what Murang'a has to offer, both in the evening and also in the nightlife. And then we meet tomorrow to compare notes. Do we agree on that? So tomorrow we'll have a session to compare notes of what you have discovered in Murang'a, for those who have never been around. So please take time, discover Murang'a, and meet you tomorrow. A very good evening to all of us. There's a cup of coffee and a cup of tea. Please enjoy it and see you tomorrow. Thank you. God bless you.